Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the crazy hair. I slept late this morning. I tried to say it's my homemade vampire one. This is Love Bites. Literally, if they're a vampire, and if you're jaded, then Love Bites. Could mean a couple different things, but it's supposed to be kind of punny. Okay, today's tea is Adagio teas, chamomile. I'm picking them out at random. And the mug, because I like it, it's my new favorite. Cats in the TARDIS. Okay. You steep this one 5 to 10 minutes at 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 C. And it is nothing but chamomile, and there's no caffeine. And it says, fill your cup with a monthly dose of tea knowledge at tmuse.com. So there's that. I'm not sponsored by anyone officially. So there you have it. As can be expected for chamomile tea, it's sweet and floral. And it'll be nice and calming. I'm fighting a sinus infection. Let's see, I think I already mentioned the news is fit to be news for right now. I have a couple of leads. Well, a couple of leads on an apartment. Two to be exact. Well, not even two. I saw it after. Well, not even two, because the one someone probably already got that one because there were more. There were several people that were interested, which means that one's not happening. And I got a call, which I will keep under my hat, from someone who said that I could be able to move into like right away, but I had to explain to them that I have to give 2 months notice here first, and that if I have to do 2 months rent up front, I'm out of luck because I'll have to pay next month's rent. If I gave 2 months notice now, it would be, well, I've got the rent paid for this month, but I'd have to pay next month. So we're already almost mid-month. So yeah, it'd be end of probably 2 months. It'd be end of June, beginning of July. I would still probably have to pay July, because if I couldn't move until the middle of July, I would still have to pay for July. So yeah, I still have to pay 2 more months worth of rent where I'm at. And we'll see. It's supposedly $750 a month, everything included, which means internet and electricity. It would be a studio apartment above a garage, I believe. There's outside stairs, which I'm okay with. But I have a list of questions. The person's supposed to call me back today, and I will ask the questions. The questions you should ask, like, okay, it's stairs. Will the stairs be maintained in the wintertime so I don't slip? What if I get a package? I do get packages, Temu and whatever. The ones that having mailed to me that I buy, of course, nothing's free. Where am I going to get those? Is it a nice big landing like the one we had at my last apartment, where I could just tell them hide the packages under the chair, kind of thing, or leave it in the door if I leave leave it between the doors if I leave the screen unlocked, kind of thing. So there's that. And for my regular mail, where's my mailbox located? It's up and upstairs. It's is it on the street next to the uh, the person who owns the property? Is it? It wouldn't be a mailbox on the house, on the front of the house, like the Airbnb was. So it would have to be on the street somewhere. Probably, I would assume next to the landlord's, because it's an upstairs apartment on a private property essentially. So there's that. Who how do I do the how do I do the rent? Is it going to be a situation where you like those old movies where you're living in the ghetto and pardon my there's no other way to say it because that's what people used to call it, the ghetto behind Taco Bell. Uh, the landlord would literally come to your apartment, knock, knock, knock. I'm here for the rent, and you have to be very, very careful not to do anything under the table like smuggle in pets or whatever because dude's at the door and he can literally see your living room. So, is it that, or do I mail it? Hopefully, mail it, or maybe stick it in their mailbox if it's the same property. I don't know. There's that. Where, you know, how do I do the rent? Um, how do I, who do I, how do I, where do I send the rent payment to? Basically, where do I send the rent payment to? Where do I pick up my mail? Where do they deliver packages? Are the steps going to be maintained? Laundry. While it's a pain in the neck, keep it clean, to go in the hallway and share with 7 other apartments, at least it's accessible. Not that it's accessible like my last place where it was in my unit. It was literally there. I could do laundry anytime I wanted to, but I still had to be careful because if I overused on the water would go up, and then the landlord threatened to up my rent, which he never did until I got a pet. Um, so yeah, and I just saw an ominous looking, well, maybe not ominous, but a white van going by. I don't want to be a Conrad from Lucky Day, but a white van with a coat of arms shield kind of looking thing on the door. You never know what the heck it could be. And like I said, I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to make things up. I'm just curious because, yeah, my apartment faces the parking lot. I see things like that. I have questions, but again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to deep dive and look into because it's none of my business. At least not yet, anyway, as to who that was and why they were here. So, but I do get concerned because of the climate we're living in currently. That's all I'm going to say. Where was I at? Oh yes, yeah. So my issues are laundry, maintaining the stairs, where they're going to drop packages, where I get my mail, rent. Oh, I've got them right here. Yeah, access to laundry. Who maintains the stairs in the winter? Where do the postal services, delivery services drop the packages? Where do I get my mail? And how do I do my rent? Also, I will have to cancel my account, or temporarily close my account with the electric company, and this time I won't. I'm not gonna be the girl that cried wolf, which I haven't been the girl who cried wolf actually, because with Spectrum I literally have wanted to cancel. I don't just say that to get my service um, altered. I did because I'm like, hey, I can't afford this. I literally can't afford this. I'm probably gonna need to cancel this. I had to get rid of the cable and just do the internet. I got it down to that, and then I've gotten to the point where my rent's going up, so I was going to do without the internet completely, and they can't really afford to lose customers apparently, because another company has taken over and installed their stuff in the apartments because they've got to deal with the new owners. And again, I've already explained all that, so yeah. If I get the apartment that I've got questions, yeah, I'll have to suspend my electric account and cancel my cable internet. So I have to cancel those. And then, of course, the usual moving stuff. Who's going to help me move? How am I going to do it? changing my address with my renter's insurance, changing my address with the post office. Those two are simple, and eventually changing my address with the bank. So my, my billing address and my mailing address match. All that little stuff. Yeah, I also need to look at when I need to update my driver's license. I was thinking about getting a real ID, but it sounds like it's not as easy as it was when I moved out here 4 years ago. So I'm back to being on the fence about getting it. If divorce papers aren't enough to prove that I had that name, I'm not going to go, um, I'm not going to make calls and pay money to go to the state of New Mexico to get my marriage license and then have a certified copy and have it notarized and all this and then still maybe not have it be enough. That's crazy. My kids haven't called me yet recently. It's been a couple Christmases. The first Christmas I moved out here. So it's been about 3 years. Two at the least, between 2 and 3 years. It's all running together because it was a stressful situation. Moving out here is supposed to be fun, but as you know, it was a mess. So anyway, that's another thing. Yes, I'm all over the place, but I'm at least able to track where I'm going right now. Yeah, back to talking about moving. I would have to figure out who's going to help me move, and I need more totes, boxes, whatever, to pack stuff up. So that's another thing I have to do. Figure out how to get the expenditures for that. And I do have refund check. Yeah, they're sending them a check in the mail. It's annoying as heck. I would rather have it deposited, but it's mail. That is mail. That will follow me if when the address change. But as far as yes, ordering packages from wherever, I'm going to hold off on ordering anything right now because packages do not get forwarded when you move. So I'm going to see where I am in the moving process as to if I'm going to take, if this apartment looks doable and the guy can, help me out, pull strings, whatever, to get me into that apartment, that'll be great. I'm not going to want to do any mail ordering until I know that that's a done deal. And if it's actually feasible, if it's actually going to happen. So hopefully, fingers and claws crossed again. We will have another abode. And if it's doable and if they don't give me too much flack. Yeah, don't give me too much flack. I'll be able to decorate a bit and get comfy. It's a studio. So basically, I didn't go for the studio that I was in the casket company. That would have been nice, but I've heard, like I said, again, I'm not going to feed into conspiracies and whatnot, but I've heard some things that weren't very nice, that it wasn't living up to the hype, essentially. So I could still get a studio, possibly. I say possibly because I'm not going to hold my breath. I still could possibly be getting a studio for around $700, between $700 and $800. So I'll let you know if that happens. It's like a cat with a hairball. Sorry about that. Possibility of getting another kitten. I have to stop at 2. Do my kittens do cats like I do my beer. 2, limit of 2. anything more than that right now will be too much. So I may be able to get Lilo for Stitch. My friend, her name is spelled weird. I shouldn't say that. Spelled unusually. That's better. She's got an unusual spelling of her name, and I can't really pronounce it. yeah, cat is pregnant, as I said before, having kittens, and she will let me know when they're ready to home out. So that will mean I've got a cat dish down there. That's I had two for Stitch. You already know that. Cross that bridge when we get to. That'll mean kitten food, which is not that expensive. Also, Wild Harvest is all ages, so I won't even have to get her new food. I say her because a boy sprays everywhere. Like I said before, I think on this channel, maybe not. I've said it somewhere anyway. My experience with male cats, they do spray. Get them done at 4 months. I've gotten them done between 4 and 6 months, and they still spray. Especially if you have more than one male, because it becomes an issing contest. They're still marking their territory, even though they have no reason to. So it's going to be a female. I'm sorry, I'm watching the cars go by my window. So it will have to be a female, so there will be some hissy, but I believe she would get used to a baby. It shouldn't be that difficult. Um, oh, yes, and I also would have to get a cat carrier to transport Lilo, if I get Lilo, to Critter Junction and then have them take her to the vet clinic to get fixed. So I'm going to have to find the money for that because that's going to be at least $100 just for that. If there is no pet deposit, I might be able to get Lilo in there under the table. So there's that. Again, stay tuned. It's convoluted mess. I'm all over the place, but you guys are used to me rambling. Anyway, again, back to the tea. Adagio tea is the chamomile. It is a pleasant chamomile tea. Some chamomiles taste slightly different than others, but then it's an herbal tea. It's going to depend on the herbs that are picked. So, and this one is a little sweeter. I haven't had chamomile tea in a minute. I don't remember if it's always got this slightly sweet flavor to it or not. It could just be that because my nose is slightly clogged. My taste buds are out of order except for the spot where I'm tasting sweet things and occasionally salty. So, yes, I got that. I did buy that with the two big things, the two Earl Greys that I got. Giant tins. I won't need Earl Grey forever practically. Um, oh yes. When I do finally get to order more stuff again, I need to get a new electric tea kettle. I need a new coffee maker. I still have the reusable Keurig thing. So depending on the size of whatever the kitchen of whatever apartment I do get to move to, if if when the time comes, I may go back to one of the ones I had at my mobile home, which was one of those ones, and my sister had one too. It's you know what I'm talking about. It can do 1 cup or multiple cups. You have the Keurig section, which can do coffee by the cup, obviously, and then you put the reusable filter, and you can brew your own coffee by the cup or travel mug, and then you have the regular. So that I'll probably get one of those if I have the money. Again, and if they're still available in this country. On that note, if you like these rambly freaking videos, give them a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, hit the bell once. If you want to have notifications, hit the bell a second time. Feel free to comment down below. Keep it civil. And that's it. Oh yes, and if you share, please give me credit. Always give the content creator credit because there are a lot of content thieves out there and it's not pretty. Okay. I'm not going to do the drinking PSA because we're doing tea and I'm kind of foggy this morning and I do have other things I have to tend to, like lots of laundry. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a wonderful day. Sit down and relax. Have a cup of tea. And I'll see you next time. I love you guys. Bye now.